Since I had to say to you, haven't had hair for so now.
Yeah, I just got back from seeing the Flash movie. I wanted to do some movie reviews, make some new type of videos, switch up content a little bit, mainly because I don't know what to make videos on. So I just went and saw the Flash, and I really enjoyed it for the most part. And this is coming from someone who wasn't the biggest fan of Aquaman, Justice League, the other one that's so forgettable, Batman vs. Superman, and Wonder Woman 1984. Out of the whole Snyderverse, I really enjoyed the first Wonder Woman, Man of Steel. Yeah, I guess that's it. Batman is 100% my favorite superhero of all time. So I was really excited when Michael Keaton was coming back, even though he's like 80 years old now, but... So this is coming from someone who wasn't the biggest fan of some of the previous DC movies, but I absolutely loved Joker, and I absolutely loved the Batman with Robert Pattinson. And I've heard good reviews about The Flash, and I was mostly excited to see it just because of Michael Keaton. I just wanted to see what they did. But there's some things in this movie. There's some things in this movie that are really good and fun, but there are also some things in this movie that are so stupid. Just a fair warning, this video is probably gonna have spoilers in it. I'll try to warn you whenever there's something important. I'm gonna read the notes that I wrote down after I watched this movie of the things stuck in my head that I just remembered because they were so stupid. So in my notes, I wrote baby shower, emperor him, Nicolas Cage, George Clooney, Christopher Reeve. And I know a lot of those sound stupid or don't make any sense, but I'll explain them. So the plot of this movie was basically the Flash's father is in prison because he was believed to have killed the Flash's mother. And they had some tape, but it didn't show his dad's face at a grocery store, so they couldn't prove that it was him and he was innocent, whatever. So Barry Allen, the Flash, gets pretty mad when reminiscing on a memory with his mother, and he just starts running really fast. And he realizes that he can look into like memories in the past and stuff. He like talks to Ben Affleck because his Batman's in it at the beginning. So there are 3 different Batmans in this movie, which is kind of, let's just stick with one. I mean, why do we need like 4 different Batmans going on at one time? I don't understand. The whole reason why his mom died was because she forgot a can of tomatoes. So he goes back and puts an extra can in her cart. And then he gets knocked into a memory by some monster. He finds his mom, she's still alive, so it worked, but he eventually finds a younger version of himself, and now he's trying to figure out how to get back. It shows Ben Affleck's Batman at the beginning. It shows Wonder Woman for a short cameo. General Zod is the main villain again, and instead of Superman, it's Supergirl, which she did fine. It was fine. She's no Henry Cavill, but... Can't understand! When Barry's in the past with his past self, he realizes that's the day that he gets his powers, so he has to make his past self go to the exact position that he was so he can get his powers also. But in doing this, lightning strikes, and it strikes through both of them, and it makes original Barry lose his powers and new Barry gain powers. So for like half of the movie, original Barry doesn't even have his powers anymore, and he's trying to teach the past Barry how to use them, but he doesn't listen the whole time. And then they find out Zod is coming back to get Superman, but in this case it's Supergirl or Superwoman, whatever. Super Zazim. So after they see Zod invades, the original Barry's like, oh, let's go find Batman, Superman, Aquaman, Wonder Woman, and Cyborg to get the Justice League. He calls Aquaman's dad, who is also Boba Fett for some reason, and he realizes Aquaman hasn't been born yet. Can't find anything on Wonder Woman, so she doesn't exist. Cyborg doesn't exist yet either, but they find out a Batman exists in this universe, so they both try to go find Batman. Turns out it's Michael Keaton instead of Ben Affleck, and he's like some old fuck that just like has given up on life. Then Batman eventually helps track down Supergirl.
You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts.
To fight General Zod. They set up a contraption. Batman helps Barry get his powers back by striking him with lightning like 2 times. Eventually they all fight with Zod. Supergirl gets killed. Batman flies his Batwing into Zod's ship and explodes. And then past Barry's like, oh no, they died. We need to go back in time and like bring him back. So they do that, and then Supergirl dies again, and then Batman dies again, just in a different way. And then original Barry is finally like, oh, no matter what, they're gonna die, so we need to give up on this. The past Barry, he keeps trying to go back in time to save them, which he just doesn't realize it won't work. And then it's like, the multiverse starts like collapsing in on itself, and one of them shows Christopher Reeve Superman in it. One of them shows another Superman who turns out to be Nicolas Cage. While all the multiverses are collapsing together, the monster jumps out, and it turns out that that monster is Barry from the past, who has just kept going back trying to save everybody over and over again, failing. They eventually kill him. At the beginning, Ben Affleck's Batman is calling Barry for help, and there's like some building collapsing, and it's got like a floor with a bunch of babies and a nurse in it. All the babies fall out of the window. And the Flash goes through, and like it's like this big montage of him like in slow-mo trying to save all these babies, and it like goes through and shows all the babies. One of them's got like a bunch of like scalpels, like about to stab its face. There's like a dog falling. He puts one of the babies in a microwave, but right as the babies start to fall, Alfred goes, oh, it's a baby. And then the Flash is like, shower. When they're fighting Zod, both Barrys realize that they can't really kill these Kryptonians or whatever they are. Past Barry gets like lightning all through his body, and then he's like, oh, can I Emperor him? Shoots force lightning into one of the Kryptonians, killing him. The original Barry goes back to the day where he added the extra can of tomatoes to his mother's cart and takes them out. But it's a really nice moment where he gets to like hug her. She doesn't know it's her son, obviously. Then he just comes to terms with that his mom has to die, and he puts everything back. And then he finally gets back to his reality. Everything seems to be fine. It looks like everything's fine. He shows up to court with his dad, where they're presenting a video that's been made better with new technology or something. And in the video, you see his dad look up to grab the tomatoes from the top shelf, which shows his face clearly, which means that he's innocent because he didn't actually kill his wife. He was actually at the grocery store when she got stabbed. When he took the tomato can back out of his mom's cart, he had put it on the top shelf, so his dad had to reach up. So he did end up saving his dad in the end. And then after that, he gets a call from Bruce Wayne, and then he's like, you were right. He's like, I got so much to tell you about this multiverse stuff. And then Bruce is like, well, I'm pulling up right now. And then George Clooney gets out of the car. So it turns out it's still messed up. The timelines are still messed up because Ben Affleck is not his Batman any longer. Some of the biggest complaints I've seen about this movie were the CGI. A lot of it was fine. Somebody came out and said CGI looks wonky in places on purpose. When the Flash runs really fast, it kind of like warps time and space. The only time CGI looks kind of wonky is when he's in that kind of realm where he's like looking back at the memories, and it's showing all these memories in a circle around him, like up, kind of looks like a stadium or something. It's just showing these people over and over again, like copy and pasted. And they're not real people. They look like CGI, like it's like a mesh kind of memory, which looks fine. I want to look at some of the movie reviews on Letterboxd. Dude said, I could drug you. Yeah, when Ezra Miller tells the other Ezra Miller that he could drug him, doesn't really bode well with all of his like recent allegations. Honestly, a really fun movie, but Jesus Christ, this features probably the worst VFX I've ever seen in a film. It's really not that bad. The beginning is lame, the middle is fun, the end is lame. Schmeatloaf. It's just so distracting watching this. All I could think about was during what stages of production Miller was choking people in Iceland, or kidnapping girls in North Dakota, or assaulting people, breaking and entering in Vermont. Piece of fucking shit movie. Yo, Andy Muschietti, if I see you in the streets, I'm gonna beat your ass. 5 stars for Supergirl and Supergirl only. Call me. Aiden Chance says, I hope I die soon. I cannot believe Nick Cage was in this movie, though. I cannot believe Nick Cage played Superman in this movie, though. On that note, if you liked the video, let me know what you liked about it. If you didn't like the video, let me know what you didn't like about it. And, yeah, I'll see you in the next video.